Hey, this is Jerry with another call commentary. Sorry for the thumb. Last night they had this ruling on Officer Wilson and Michael Brown when they decided they weren't going to indict Officer Wilson. That being said, you know, somebody has to say the truth. Racism exists, and there's a reason for it. You see, every time there's a disagreement, every time there's a problem, and it goes to court and it doesn't go the way of a certain community, and I'll say an African American community, there seems to be this violent outburst of protest. Look at how many riots in America over my lifetime, over the last 30 years, have been brought on by a racial incident. Rodney King, Watts. I mean, there have been riots in this country that African Americans have rioted before. There haven't been marches like Dr. King. There haven't been guys demonstrating their cause by standing up to the police with their hands down and saying, "Look, I'm not going to be violent," and demonstrating that the police are violent. Those amazing people that walked into Selma, Alabama and took the brunt of the racism. They took it. They walked. They knew they were going to get beat. Those kids that sat in the Walmart and got spit on and accosted. Those kids that walked into the schools, right, and were told, "Get out of here," and they were called all kinds of names. They stood there. Jackie Robinson stood there and walked there and said, "I am the same. I'm not less equal than you." But yet, what the hell do? You get a ruling and you riot throughout the streets. You destroy property. You shoot your guns in the air. You run into liquor stores and you run out with television from other stores. You destroy other people's property. And you wonder why racism exists. And you wonder why cops are going after you. You wonder why people are afraid. Why no one says nothing when your kids are playing knockout games and knocking the hell out of people just for fun, and you're not saying anything. And you got your race-baiting, worse Quimbo Sambo assholes like Al Sharpton over there telling you, "We're gonna march." How about this, Al Sharpton? How about you march for a cause instead of march as a reaction? How about you march for a cause to demonstrate the civility of the African American, because it exists. You small little teeny-minded race-baiting thugs are making African Americans and Hispanics and all minorities look bad. You are destroying and spitting on Rosa Parks, sitting there saying, "I'm not getting up." All the way back to William Wilberforce and John Brown, you're spitting on them saying, "We didn't deserve what you did." You keep talking about back 200 years ago, back 100 years ago. Well, let's talk about yesterday. Let's talk about last night. When a ruling came in you didn't like, and you decided to destroy the businesses around you, to fire up your guns at fire departments trying to put out the fires, to set fires to cars, to bust through windows, to steal and rob and loot. Oh, I know it's only a small minority. I know it's only a small portion. But that portion is why you have to deal with racism. That uncontrolled, undisciplined, and unaccosted, not held responsible, part of your society, part of the American society, part of the African American society, is the reason racism exists. You can't tell me people are born racism. They're taught, and they're trained, and they see with their own eyes and make their own judgments. For years and years, I have sat back and watched racism exist on both sides. My whole life, I've seen it. Being Hispanic, I get to see both sides of the coin. And one thing I know for sure, one thing I know absolutely without a shadow of a doubt, you will never convince the majority of the people that what happened last night was a righteous and good thing. It was thugs and idiots bringing down all those brave men and women that stood up for civil rights. So don't act like you say Black Lives Matter, because your actions show they don't. Not to you. They matter to me, they matter to other people, but they don't matter to the thugs that were out there doing this. They don't matter to the slaughtering that's going on in the streets of Chicago and Detroit. Black lives don't matter to black people, apparently, in these areas. Otherwise, you'd be saying something. And I know I'm being offensive. I know somebody's going to take my words and say, I said this about all black people. Let me be clear. I'm talking about a small percentage that doesn't give a damn about what color they are. All they want to do is be victims and bitch and moan and complain about everything. Michael Brown was a thug. Trayvon Martin was a thug. And yet you put them in the same category as Rosa Parks. How dare you? And you wonder why so many people are afraid. You wonder why so much racism still exists. Do you know why? Because if you plant the seed in the ground, it grows. It multiplies. It grows. When you got guys on TV every day and every night, I turn on the television and see a black guy kill another black guy. I see the one guy, the statistic that said in 2010 there were 19,000 interracial relationships that ended in violence and rape. 19,000 African American on white. Not white on African American, white, because there were none in 2010. And you say, why? Why am I bringing up these statistics? Because there are good and noble black people, just like there are good and noble white people. I know many of them. I know some of them will hate what I'm saying. I know guys like Larry will say, man, Jerry, calm down. But Larry's a man that's trying to destroy the stereotype. Mario, I know a bunch of guys that are trying to destroy, Philip, trying to destroy the stereotype. And every goddamn time something happens, you got thugs running into the street, and then here's the problem that goes after that. You'll have race baiters justifying them. You want racism to stop? Stop it. Just that simple. Stop living up to the stereotype. How many times do I have to say it? Stereotypes exist because people live up to them. This is Jerry. Call commentary, and I'm damn pissed. And I'm not going to take it anymore. Goodbye. Have a good day.